What's going on, guys? Chris here with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal in Palm Beach County, Florida, and today we are doing the storage unit marketing. I actually just went by my first one. We are at the second one right now, and the way I like to keep track when I do marketing is I'll keep a note in my phone where I'll write down the name of the place, the crossroads it's on, was I able to leave cards behind, was a vendor position available, who is the manager's name, who did I talk to, and any notes to do follow-ups. So that's how I keep track of it, and then every 3 or 4 months I'll go back to the same place, so that way I can repeat the same person and say, hey, I was here a couple months ago, talked to so-and-so to leave behind some marketing material. I was wondering if I could replenish that or get an update about vendor positions. So speaking of, the two things that we're trying to do today is leave behind cards and flyers, and we're trying to see if they have a vendor position available. A vendor position is something where you are set up to be first to be called or first to be recommended for a storage unit who needs junk removal needs, or their clients do. Now, I have found that it is better to seek out a vendor position first after your introduction before asking to leave cards behind, because by going the vendor route, you are providing yourself as a value to their company to service them. Versus if I just went in and said, hey, I'm just another junk removal business here in Palm Beach County, Florida. I was wondering if I could leave some marketing material here for you to pass out for free to your clients. Yeah, I'd rather say, hey, I'm a junk removal business here in Palm Beach County, and I was wondering if you guys ever have illegal dumping, or maybe you have a storage unit that gets evicted that doesn't qualify for an auction. Maybe someone leaves a bunch of crap out in the parking lot and it's not worth it for your maintenance guys to handle it, or you don't have the dumpster size for bulk items. You know, I love to come in and do a vendor position where you guys can call me, I'll come by, scoop it up, and be on our way, and then you guys don't have to worry about the hassle. So that's already a solution to a problem that they have on a reoccurring basis. And then, whether they say yes or no, I still ask, can I leave cards and flyers behind? If they say, yes, we do have that position available, I say, great, get the information, and then I say, by the way, can I leave behind some cards and flyers in the meantime, right? If they say, no, sorry, our corporate office doesn't allow vendors, not a problem. Do you mind if I leave some cards and flyers behind? All right, so either way, you're still able to do it. The only time I wouldn't pursue it is if they already have a vendor position set up and they already have it filled, because at that point you're gonna be a conflict of interest. Now, I would let them say, you know, I could still take your cards in case they don't want to use the vendor we have, because that's fine. All right, you don't have to go with that vendor. It's just they're first to be recommended because that's what the facility uses. So that's kind of the perks with it. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about today is something that came up in conversation the other day. This is something I dealt with big time as a new business. That's gonna be annoying. When I started off as a new business, I made this mistake for the first 2-ish years up until I got my own truck and trailer. And it was something that cost me a lot of money. And I think Andrew Thompson actually referenced this point in his price sheet video. And I was like, yes, I've dealt with that. And I don't remember how I first heard about it, but it is a very valuable tip in my opinion. And I think a lot of people who start business make the same mistake. So I want to talk about that. For now, I'm going to head into here. I will try and just hold the phone this time to record the conversation, since my back pocket really muffled out the first encounter. And hopefully you guys can listen to my spiel a little bit and you can get an idea of how I promote myself when I go to storage units. So stay tuned for that. And then when I get out, we will talk about that tip. All right, so the front door is locked. I think they were on lunch, but she actually just pulled up, but she had food in her hand, so we're gonna give her a few minutes to eat and then we'll go in afterwards. In the meantime, we're gonna go over this tip. So actually, this is more of a lesson learned, but I think it applies to a lot of newer guys. So when I first started the business, I was using a 15-foot U-Haul. All right, that's how I did all my business. I did either pickup truck, cargo van, 10-foot, 15-foot, bigger if I needed it, whatever. I didn't have a truck and trailer. And I made the 15-foot my primary truck because that was the next size up after a 10-foot that had a ramp, and it was pretty good in size to where I could stand up items without hitting the roof, and it wasn't filled up with like just one couch. 10-foot was too small. My area doesn't have the 12 or 14 foot. It went right to 15. The 15-foot U-Haul has a cubic volume footage of 764. To put that into perspective, 1-800-GOT-JUNK on average is 400 cubic feet. College Hunks in my area is 440 cubic feet for the junk trucks. I think Junk King is like 450, 460 maybe, depending on the state. And what's another one? I think Junk and Luggers is actually in between College Hunks and 1-800-GOT-JUNK. So they're all around the 420 to 450 mark is average. And my U-Haul was 764. That's a big difference, right? Now, I used to work at College Hunks as a mover, but I know their junk removal prices. So I was using, not the exact numbers, but I was using around their numbers for my truck that was 324 cubic feet bigger, right? And my reasoning was, well, I don't deserve to charge as much as them because I don't have as much trucks as they do. I don't have a warehouse with 50 employees with overhead out the window with insurance sky high. You know, I don't need to be charging all this money. It's just me, and you know, I don't even have a truck yet. The U-Haul gets paid for by the job. You know, I have my standard insurance. My bills at the time was like $294 a month because I didn't have a truck payment. I didn't have a commercial insurance because I use the U-Hauls, and my general liability is like $55 a month, right? So I didn't have a lot of bills for overhead. So I was like, you know, I don't need to be charging as much as they do. I'm a small business. You know, I should charge small business pricing. That is the biggest fucking mistake I made. Sorry, that came from the heart. That was the biggest mistake I made because at the end of the day, junk removal is providing one sole purpose. We are removing something from somebody's property that they don't want anymore. That's all it is. So as far as how that gets taken care of is the same. Everything behind it doesn't matter when it comes to paying somebody for point A to point B. Let's do a scenario. Somebody needs a couch, 2 mattresses, and a few boxes removed from a garage, right? Let's call it a quarter truck. Let's just say, for example purposes, this is incredibly unrealistic, but let's say 1-800-GOT-JUNK's quarter truck price is $250, okay? And somebody calls and says, hi, this is 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and they're like, hi, I need this stuff removed from my garage. Great, we'll be there Monday morning at 9 o'clock. We'll give you a free estimate. If you're happy with the price, we'll take the stuff and go. You'll be done with it. Great, sounds good. They come in, they load everything up, they pay, they leave, done, all right? Same scenario on your side. Hi, this is Clutter Reduction. How can I help you? Hi, I have this stuff in my garage I want to get taken care of. Great, we can be there Monday at 9 o'clock. We'll give you a free estimate on the spot. If you're happy with the price, we'll take it out. You'll be done with it. Great, you get there. They load it up, take it out, quarter truck. Let's just say it's $250. What is the difference? Nothing, right? You called, you booked, you came out, you gave a free estimate. They were happy with the price. You picked up their items, you loaded it, hopefully providing little to no collateral damage in the process. You're on your way. Their service has been met. Their expectations have been met. Both parties did the exact same thing. The only difference is they are a bigger company. But when it comes to general jobs, that does not matter. The only times that would matter is if, let's say, I was gonna go to a large office warehouse that's 10,000 square feet and I'm taking everything out and I have 2 days to do it and it's probably gonna be 20 truckloads. I would not physically be able to do that with my trailer. I would have to go out and rent numerous U-Hauls. I would have to go out and hire people to drive them and load them with me because time is my biggest factor because I don't have that turnaround. That is where a franchise like 1-800-GOT-JUNK that can afford and be available to send out 10 trucks on a whim to load that job up can have that done. Whereas I would have to run and do all this background stuff and it's gonna cost me a fortune just to get the job, right? But it's those situations where that is where size matters in junk removal, in my opinion. I'm not an expert here, but I think it's pretty common sense. Now, the thing about it is, you would mark 1-800-GOT-JUNK as a professional company, yes? Why? because they have a brand, they have a website, they have uniforms, they have shirts, they have employees, they're licensed, they're insured. Okay, what's the difference with you? You have a brand, you have a website, you have shirts, you have business cards, you have a vehicle. Even if you're a sole employee, you're still an employee, you're still getting the service done. I've never not gotten a job done. I've never caused damage on my job, even solo, right? So let's say you have an employee. Great, you have employees, done. The only difference is the size volume you can handle at once without going to extremes. That doesn't matter to your standard employee or your standard client. So there is no difference, right? If you're licensed, you're insured, you have all the same credentials, there's no difference in professional companies comparing yourself to 1-800-GOT-JUNK. The only difference is the size, which only applies to certain situations. So why can't you charge the same pricing as them or similar pricing? You don't have to literally be matching them, but why can't you charge in those upper numbers compared to what you do when you're providing the same service with the same value? If anything, your value is probably going to be better because you're a smaller business. You're going to be more focused on your customer satisfaction because that's going to make or break your business. You're going to be on time. You're going to show up. You're going to get the job done to their satisfaction. You're going to do the best you can not to cause damage because that's going to be a bigger cut of your paycheck than if you had a company with sky high insurance to cover it. You're going to be the better value of a service majority of the time. So why can't you charge the same? That is something that I learned back then that drastically changed my pricing. Now, I don't charge sky high right now because at the end of the day, this thing that separates me from 1-800-GOT-JUNK besides size is the fact that my trailer is a little smaller. I have a 6.5 by 12 foot trailer with 4 foot sides. That is 312 cubic feet. Their trucks are 10 by 8, even though I measured it one day in a parking lot and it was actually 6.5 feet, so bullshit. But 6 by 8 with 4 foot sides, that is a 400 square foot or cubic foot trailer truck, right? So by default, they're a bigger size, which means that when we're charging by volume, they have a right to charge more, because of their size of the truck. Like you'll get trucks that use a small box truck and they'll charge $800-900 when their competitors are $700, but it's because they're offering more volume to fill. That's the only difference. If you were to break down price wise, it's probably about the same. That is the only time I think your pricing should alter, is if your volume you're offering is not the same. Because if you're just comparing full truck to full truck, it's going to come down to the size of the truck, right? You're getting more bang for your buck if you go with the bigger truck, if the prices are the same. It's common sense. So I personally charge a little less than what I could be because of my truck size. Now, my next truck, I plan on doing a double axle this time because I screwed up on that. But I plan on doing a 6.5 by 14 foot truck with 5 foot sides. That's going to put me at 464 cubic feet, which puts me 24 cubic feet bigger than College Hunks, puts me 64 cubic feet bigger than 1-800-GOT-JUNK. I believe Junk King is around 450. I think Jungle Uggers is between 1-800-GOT-JUNK and College Hunks, maybe close to College Hunks. So volume wise, I am now grouped in with everybody else except for 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Everyone's gonna surpass them, but I'm grouped in with everyone else as far as volume goes, which means now I can charge their prices, right? That is the only difference. At the end of the day, I am a professional company just as much as anyone else. The only difference is they are bigger and they can handle a larger situation without having to go to extremes. Again, this is all my opinion. All right, I'm not an expert, but that is what I've learned to come to learn. That's what I've had other people say, not even directly to me, just in general, and it makes the most sense. Like the fact that so many people overlook that because they're a smaller business, it doesn't matter if you're providing the same service. If you were a carpenter, but your service went above and beyond because you do small finished details and woodwork and craftsmanship that other companies don't do, then yes, you have the right to charge more money because you're providing more service than what your competitor is. Otherwise, the only difference is what they choose to pick as a profit level, right? Everyone has to cover their expenses. If your expenses are so high that you physically can't match your competitors without adding on hundreds and hundreds of dollars, you probably need to reevaluate your expenses. Otherwise, everyone is going to pick what is competitive, so you're not losing money, you're not price gouging, so you never get picked, and you're making sure that your overhead is covered and you're pulling in profit. Whatever that profit is up to the company. So those are where like the variables alter, and that's what I've come to learn, and it's made a huge difference, especially in just confidence alone, right? It's affected me as a business owner, as a person, and as a business itself, right? The more you value yourself and look at yourself as your competitors are, the better you're going to be when it comes to providing a value for somebody else, because at the end of the day, you're doing the same thing. So that's all I got to say about that. It has been 12 minutes. I am hoping this lady is done eating. We're gonna go in and market to her, and I will let you know how that goes. I'll either try to record it this time, because the other one was kind of muffled in my pocket, or if she's just super standoffish, we may just move on to the next one. So you either will or will not get a conversation about it, but either way, I will see you guys next time. That is my little rant and my tip about the storage units, and hope everyone is having a good day. Bye. I have a local junk removal business. I've been here before for junk removal in the past, for your clients, not for you personally.
Right.
And I was wondering if you guys had a vendor position available.
I'm not sure. You could leave your info, and I can reach out to my DM and
Sure.
see, and have her give you a call.
Sure.
Do you have card, a business
Yes.
card, something like that? Okay. So as soon as I'm get off my break, I'm gonna go ahead and
Oh, no problem.
send that
Yeah,
over
sorry
to
to
her.
interrupt you.
It's okay.
Would it be possible to leave behind cards for residents or
Sure.
residents,
You could leave them
clients?
here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I have flyers too, if it's not too much,
Okay.
but it just gives a little bit more of a visual.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and send her. I'm gonna take a picture of it and send it over to her and have her reach out
Okay,
to you.
perfect.
Her name is Jean.
Jean? Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. What was her name?
Stephanie.
Stephanie? Pleasure. All right, thank you. Sorry to interrupt your break.
No, you're fine.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.